Very good morning, one and all. According to Peter Drucker, leaders in every single institution and in every single sector have two responsibilities. They are responsible and accountable for the performance of their institutions, and that requires them and their institutions to be concentrated, focused, and limited. They are responsible also, however, for the community as a whole. Peter Drucker strived to make business leaders and see the community as a responsibility of the corporations. He called on leaders to embody the spirit of performance by exhibiting high levels of integrity in their moral and ethical code, focusing on results, building on strengths, and leading beyond borders to meet the requirements of the stakeholders, ultimately serving the common good. The financial year 2015 and 16 witnessed a 28% growth in CSR spending in comparison to the year 2014-15 in India. Listed companies in India spent around US dollars 1.23 billion, that is equivalent to rupees 83.45 billions in various programs ranging from education, skill development, social welfare, healthcare, and environmental conservation. The Prime Minister Relief Fund saw an increase of 418%, that is equivalent to US dollar 103 million and rupees 7.01 million in Indian context in comparison to the US 24.5 millions in 2014 and 15. The education sector received the maximum funding of rupees 20.42 billion and followed by healthcare with rupees 16.38 billion, while programs such as child mortality, mental health, gender equality, and social projects saw negligible spend. India is first country in the world to make corporate social responsibility a mandate through an amendment in the Companies Act 2013 in the year April 2014. Business can invest their profit in the area of education, poverty, gender, equality, and hunger. With these few words, I myself, Kiran Mai, along with IPE family, welcomes our dignitaries today, Dr. Madhukar Guptaji, Additional Secretary, Department of Public Enterprises, Government of India, Dr. Samar Verma, Dr. A.K. Rath, and Dr. Sridharan, Dr. Jibitesh Rath, policy makers, industry captains, participants from India and abroad, to this fourth international seminar on corporate social responsibility under the auspices of NLC Chair on corporate social responsibility at the Institute of Public Enterprise. Before we commence the program, may I request all the dignitaries and participants to raise for a divine blessing.
परेश महेश विलेशय भूषण भो साम्ब सदा शिव शम्भो शङ्कर शरणं मे तव चरणयुगम् उभयादिव्य सुमङ्गल विग्रहया लिङ्गितमामाङ्ग विभो साम्ब सदा शिव शम्भो शङ्कर शरणं मे तव चरणयुगम् दूरीकुरु मामज्ञमनाथं दूरीकुरु मे दुरितं भो साम्ब सदा शिव शम्भो शङ्कर शरणं मे तव चरणयुगम् शिवाय नमो शिवाय नमः शिवाय नमो नमः शिवाय शिवाय नमो शिवाय नमः शिवाय नमो नमः शिवाय
May I now request Dr. Shulagna to present a bouquet to our chief guest today, Dr. Madhukar Gupta ji, IAS, Additional Secretary, Department of Public Enterprises, Ministry of Heavy Industries and Public Enterprises, Government of India. May I now request Dr. Poonam hand over a bouquet to Dr. Samar Verma. May I now request Dr. Salma to welcome our guest, Dr. A.K. Rath sir. I request Maushmi to welcome Shri Sridharan sir. Can we have Shulagna again to welcome Dr. Jibitesh Rath, please? I request Poonam to hand over a bouquet to Professor Mishra.
We also give our bouquets to you.
Thank you, everyone. Professor R.K. Mishra is a senior professor and director at the Institute of Public Enterprise, Hyderabad. He is a ONGC Subir Rahat Chair Professor. He is a graduate in International Management Program at SDA Bocconi, Milan, Italy. He has been a fellow of the British Council and Commonwealth Secretariat. He is a member of the United Nations Task Force on International Task Force on Standards of Excellence in Public Administration and Education, and he is also associated with UNDP projects on microeconomic poverty reduction carried by the Reserve Bank of India through its institute, Indira Gandhi Institute of Development Banking Research. He has been on the task force of various committees constituted by the Department of Public Enterprises. He also represented in various committees in the Ministry of Finance, Power, Heavy Industries, Trade and Commerce, and Public Enterprises and Disinvestment. He also has passion to work in the areas of CSR, corporate governance, public policy, poverty management, and economic reforms and privatization. With this note, I request Professor Mishra to extend a warm welcome to the participants.
Thank you, Kiran. It's my most pleasant duty today to stand and welcome our honored guests. Madhukar Gupta ji, who is not only a civil servant in the top bracket of the country, but also an academic. He spent long time in the topmost universities of the world, obtaining his master's, obtaining his doctorate. Here is a person who has given the evidence of his ability in Rajasthan, where he was CMD of many corporations. He was secretary in number of ministries over there. I have seen Dr. Gupta and listened to Dr. Gupta's speeches in various international fora, in the UN forums, in the forums of ADB, in the forums of OECD, not only in one country, but in several countries. And I can say it with great pride that wherever Dr. Gupta goes, the flag of India, it flies very, very high. Please give a big round of applause to Dr. Not only that, you can learn from him a lot on CSR, on corporate governance, on government also. But you can also take a lesson of life from him, how to lead your personal lives in this turbulent world, where each second you are just looking at the sky, how you should face this situation. Here is a person who can take on any load, any responsibility, any report, and can do it without, any wrinkle on his face. Even yesterday, when he had to fly in the afternoon, in the last minute, there is a meeting called at the Cabinet Secretariat and by the ministers, and Dr. Gupta had to change his plan. But he stood to his commitment of coming to IPE. But don't think that it has been that easy thing, because I have been persuading him to come for several months and several years. So, sir, we are extremely grateful to you, for your presence, and we look forward to learn so much from you. I also take this opportunity of welcoming Samar Verma ji, leading light in India, a person who brings academic people together, a person who brings government and academic people together, and he brings government and academic people together to understand the problems which are afflicting the society, the way which other countries have solved those problems. He gives his input as to how we can solve our problem the best. And one example of that is that we never had a survey of research in this country. Even very small country like Norway, Burundi, they have those surveys. But India, being such a big country with 650 universities and about 300 institutions for higher learning, it never had anything to present. And when he came to India, the first task that he took on himself, and all singly, was to work with ICSR and bring topmost social sciences together to work on this survey. He made them work relentlessly for a whole year, and finally I think that survey has come back. So we can always say, raise our head and say, UNESCO and the UN, that India also has a survey. He is a person who is a hard taskmaster, and that hard taskmastership is not only for academics and for the people in government, but also for the publishers. Never Oxford had brought out any book in 2 months. They take about 2 years. But then he made Oxford to bring out the book just in 2 months. They worked all night, they worked in several groups, they worked on and on. But then on 5th of November, we had the pleasure of the book being released by the Minister for Education, Government of India at Delhi. And he gave me an opportunity to be there. So I was a privy, to what happened there. I think we can take proud of the fact that Dr. Samar Verma, there are so many institutions in India, there are so many good people in this country, but he thought that IPE needs, I think, his guidance. IPE needs his counsel. IPE needs his helping hand. And he came forward very, I think, closely looking at the institute, and he saw that he is needed here, his help is needed here. And he extended his helping hand. Not only then, there, but I am very sure that we will have his helping hand all the time. As he grows, I am very sure IP will also grow in the years to come. We have Dr. Rath there. Please give a big round of applause to Dr. Samar Verma. Dr. Rath is our guru and guide, former Secretary Government of India in the Ministry of Education. And one thing I always mention is that he is the person who worked very closely with the then Prime Minister on right to education. Right to education was there in Russia, is there in several countries, but where right to education can come to India? That was a very, very big question. It was a big challenge, but the then Prime Minister and Dr. Rath, they took on that challenge of working on right to education, drafting the bill, redrafting the bill, getting it to the council, getting it to the law department. You can understand, I think, getting it to the different states, because when you pass the bill, the states have to take on board. Worked very hard, overnight, all the time. I think people are only asking him what has happened to right to education to bill, and ultimately that appeared. But not only that, he has been on several boards, prestigious enterprises. He knows what is corporate social responsibility. Himself has been chairman of this CSR committee of Maharatnas and Navratnas. He is an author of a very important book. His PhD is on the role that independent directors can play in public and private enterprises, and several papers that Dr. Rath has published. They are a solid contribution to what one can know about management literature in India and abroad. Please give a big round of applause to Dr. I am very glad that CMD NLC, Dr. S.K. Acharya, who is also co-chair of the NLC chair at the institute, who as a person is known for the work that he has done in CSR. We had cyclone very recently, and he was feeding 1 lakh people in Chennai every day. NLC was feeding 1 lakh people. People running helter-skelter. He provided them a place to live. If you had seen sarkaritel.com only I think on 25th December. You might have seen Mr. Acharya and his picture, and Government of India is showing that, and there's a very good case how we can bring in harmony, because he celebrated or NLC celebrated 25th December as a day of harmony. He's a person who has contributed so much, and he thought that CSR is one area where NLC should come forward and should promote studies in that area. No enterprises come forward. It's only the NLC there who has taken that onus of doing work, and they picked up IPE. IPE has been doing work in that area. We had a meeting when he was here last time. We'll have another meeting with Mr. Sridharan and his colleagues over there. IPE, through this NLC chair, has reached out almost all public enterprises, private enterprises, the CSR organs in different universities in the world. It has become part of the UN Global Compact, and it has helped the UN Global Compact to expand further. They had only 9 or 10 things. CSR was not there, but we got CSR added on to that. Through this chair, we have been going and talking in the universities. We have been going and talking in the ministries. We have been going abroad and talking. We publish a journal there, which is a journal published by SAGE, which is one of the top-ranking publishers in the world. My colleagues in CSR now, 7 or 8 colleagues, they've been working in that area. We have CSR training programs. We work with the Institute of Corporate Affairs on CSR training programs. We are going and working in different areas here with poor people, with people who are handicapped, with people who don't have parents. We work with them. But working, I think, on any mission is very, very difficult. When Gandhiji felt when he worked for freedom of India that we don't have, Sridharan Sahab, we don't have resources. Now CSR is such a big thing. IPE with this small revenue and with the help of NLC could do this much. But now we have come to a point that we very badly need more and more funds to take on the message of NLC and Dr. Acharya to all parts of the world, that here, why you should do CSR. On that note, let me welcome Mr. Sridharan, who was told last minute, I think, to substitute for the CMD. But I told him that CMD has sent you here because you are an execute director. You can only execute the plans of the CMD. And therefore, we welcome Mr. Sridharan and his colleagues here. Dr. Jiptesh Rath is a scholar, manager. And what we need today, we don't need only managers. Because you have seen the world, the way the world is being managed, instead of managing, we are damaging the world. So managers have become damagers. But if you want to escape from that, then you want to have thinking managers. And here we have Dr. Rath, who is a PhD on CSR, who has published prolifically on CSR, who speaks on CSR. And CSR is there in his corporal of his blood. He is, I think, a walking, a person. When he walks CSR, I think I should say, CSR walks with him. And today he is here with us. He always helps us. Please give a big round of applause to Dr. Rath. I also take this opportunity of welcoming our Dean, Dr. Srinivas Murthy. We are very lucky that he is here today. He had to fly today, but he postponed his visit to meet Mr. Trump. So he is leaving tomorrow. I am very grateful to him for the guidance that he has given to all of us in the NLC chair. Friends, when I speak that, I must speak very high of my colleague, Dr. Shalugna Sarkar, who has been leading us. And when ladies, they lead, or a lady leads, certainly you will have fullest success, I think, in any mission that you take up. We are extremely grateful to her for doing wonderful work, and in that she has been very greatly assisted by a very able colleague. I don't see her here, Dr. Poonam Singh. I don't know, she is not here. But she shows the qualities of a good leader in CSR. The good leader is never in the front. Good leader always, I think, watches and I think monitors and controls. So she is sitting there. These two, they have been doing wonderful work with our colleagues, helping, like Deepa has been helping. There are other colleagues, Venkat, who has been helping, Mr. Upender, who has been doing wonderful job. All my teacher colleagues who are in the CSR department. And then we have a PhD scholar, Salma, here. She is doing her PhD on CSR. She might submit her PhD very, very soon under the NLC chair. We have instituted 3 fellowships for girls and boys from any part of India, provided they have published some work, they have done some baseline survey, they have evaluated, certain projects, they have gone and taken up 1 or 2 programs, of CSR. I'll just take 2 minutes more. People ask why we should have CSR. In my view, I think we should have CSR for 2 or 3 things. One is, our studies, they point out very clearly, research that we have done, that CSR is a value builder. All kinds of values it builds. If you take away CSR, you are left with nothing. I won't elaborate on that. CSR is also an enabler, because we got our lives, but what does it mean? It doesn't mean anything if you don't function. So you may create a country, you may create a state, you may create an organization, Maharatna, Navaratna, any kind of thing. You create Tatas, create Birlas, create anything. But if they can't function, then what is the meaning of all that creation? So therefore, as heart is there, mind is there, CSR is heart, CSR is mind, CSR is hand, CSR is legs. It makes, I think, the organization, people, to move forward, to work. And the third thing to me, sir, which is very important, is that CSR brings harmony. Today, if we think anything, God's best creation is human beings. But today, God, if you think of demons, human beings have become demons also. We can't live together. We can't talk. We can't meet. We can't exchange of ideas. We can't support. We don't support. We create problems. We create obstacles. We talk of several things. But CSR is one thing. Always, I think, if you talk of industrial development, here we have great scholars, always there is a conflict between industry and people. Though we say industry is for people, but that's very hard, I think, to understand at times. CSR is an enabler, and in China today, we talk of harmonious society. The question is not of money, the question is not of Tatas, the question is not of Birlas, the question is not of a rich man, the question is not of big enterprise, the question is not India's parliament. The question before us is, are we a harmonious society? And we know, I think, our fiction. We know, I think, what kind of problems we have in our society. And we know, I think, the tug of war between industry and people. If that be the case, I think, I'm very sure that if you take up that step of CSR, we bring society and people together, there won't be any friction. CSR, in my view, is an enabler. And also, today, if anything which has damaged the foundation of human society today, that is greed, that is hubris, that is unnecessary competition. And CSR is one thing, this Dr. Madhukar Gupta is here, CSR teaches you, I think, and CSR creates an ecosystem and environment where all of us understand that human beings are above greed. Even God says the, that means for Devta, for gods, when God opened the eyes and Devta, or they wanted to know what they should do, God told the, that means Daman. When human beings came, then greed, only I should have everything. I should have everything. Then when human beings went there and they prayed, then God opened the eyes. And they asked what we should do. Again God told the, that means give dhan, give something. And when Rakshasas they came, then again, they went in penance and they asked God to give a mantra. God again opened the eyes and told again the. That means daya. You should have kindness on others. This is, I think, in my view, I think CSR. But what are the problems again? I won't take much time, but one problem which is very important today is that we have not gone beyond philanthropy. We consider CSR as philanthropy. We consider CSR as something mandatory. It has not become voluntary. And you can understand that law cannot drive, I think, any society to the goals which a society should achieve. So regulation, I think, we have seen only yesterday, as Sulagna was telling me, 550 firms, they don't have any transparency. I'll just finish and I'll bring this to Madhukar Gupta ji, because he is in government, he is in the high seat, and he works with all the ministries and all enterprises work under him. And private enterprises also, he is in a position of influence in private enterprises because they are part of society. They can't take society for ransom. is that, sir, I have found that we talk of corporate governance in the name of CSR, there are related party transactions. RPT is a very, very big issue to CSR. And you don't have one RPT, you have plethora of RPTs in our country in the name of CSR. And these plethora of RPTs are again not with the small units and microfinance type units, they are with big business houses of all kinds in public and private sector. It's a very big issue, I think, and we need a big research on that. And we must bust, I think, this kind of cleverness. This is not, you can't be clever, I think, with people of which you are a part. You can't deceive and you can't cheat, I think, people in the name of CSR. That's a very big thing. And number two is disclosure, I think. As we saw 550 companies, they don't even disclose. So we are very good, I think. Again, the problem of enforcing legislation comes in our country. We have a nice legislation. But nice legislation has very little to contribute in the sense that it is not being enforced. And 550 enterprises, including Malya Group, I don't know how to enforce on them. They just run away, they just don't enforce. So we can't, I think, differentiate between that some should enforce, the others, they should, get scot-free. I think that's a very, very, very big problem. We must, I think, do something on that. I'll finish with that. But somebody told me, before I entered the room, how come the room, there's so much of light? Not this electricity. But I was going through Vishnu Sahasranam. In Vishnu Sahasranam, there are 2 or 3 great names of God. One is Om Vidyut Khan Sam Prabhaya Namah, Om Vidyutaya Namah, Om Mahavidyutaya Namah. So when you have Dr. Madhukar Gupta, Dr. Rath, Dr. Samar Verma, Dr. Sridhar, Dr. Rath, Jiptis Rath, what else can be there? Only light and light and light. And I am very sure with these 6 very big people with us, I think it will be the doom of darkness in our country, doom of the darkness. This, I think, only, speaks of the doom of darkness from the lives of our country. I'll finish. Whenever I am going beyond metros, I now start, I think my tears come in my eyes. Let me tell you, India has become a developed country only in terms of metros, but you go and see 50 kilometers away from any metro, whether it is Chennai, Hyderabad, Mumbai, Delhi, leave, I think, your national highways, you see the dance of poverty, dance of nakedness. We talk of access for education. There is no access for education. We don't have good drinking water there. We have got big groups here. Go to Kothur, go to Bangalore Road, I think. We talk of whole Bangalore we are talking. But what happens on the Bangalore Road, 50 kilometers this or that side? No school. And I have been seeing people coming in the evening, their heads not going like this, running down. You don't find employment in this country. As I was talking to Dr. Madhukar Gupta, yes, very importantly, we need, I think, toilets. But before toilet, what we require is food in the stomach of people. If food is not there, where is the question of toilets? But we should do all that. CSR is a big challenge. CSR, in my view, I think, is one of the last instruments in the hands of this country. If we do that, I don't think there can be any revolution of 1992 Bolshevik revolution. What happened in the then USSR? We can become a peaceful society. We can become a society, of where we can live together, we can thrive, and we can take good breath, and we can be very friendly, I think, with the nature. With that, friends, I once again welcome our star, guest today. IPE is very, very lucky to have them, sir. We express our gratitude to all of you for giving 2 days of your very important, you are very valuable people to the country, of your lives to us. Thank you very much. IPE is indeed good.
Thank you very much, sir, for those inspiring words on our guests and also on CSR. I request Dr. Shulagna Sarkar, conference convener, to share the detailed programs for the next 2 days.
Thank you, ma'am. Honorable Dr. Madhukar Gupta, Additional Secretary, Department of Public Enterprise, Dr. Sama Verma, Specialist IDRC Asia Region, Shri S. Sridhar, Executive Director, NLC, Professor A.K. Rath, Chairman and Professor, Center for Corporate Governance and Social Responsibility, IMI Delhi, and Dr. Jibitesh Rath, GMHRD NMDC Limited. I welcome you, sir, delegates, paper presentators, and all invitees and dignitaries present here. On behalf of the organizing committee, I extend a warm and hearty welcome to you all to the inaugural session of 4th International Conference on CSR, organized under the aegis of NLC Chair on CSR. This conference is organized with an intention to serve as a platform for companies to showcase their CSR initiatives, as well as a platform for academicians and industry to interact and ponder upon the important issues of CSR. As my Honorable Director was talking about, there is a huge conflict between what the government has a vision, the practical difficulties that corporate faces, the real needs identified the civil society organizations or the NGOs, and what the theory of academicians speak. With that intention, we have designed this whole 2 days program, and we intend to have a volley of distinguished lectures, panel discussions, paper presentations during the next 2 days.